And no more talking. Okay, so if you guys look at the examples, some of you were here yesterday, some of you were not. Okay, if you weren't, this is what we're doing. We're going to start with our value scale, okay? Each one of these is a flat wash, or I tried to make it into a flat wash. And how I did that, or I guess what that means is, it should be the same color without any areas lighter or darker. This one below, that's a graded wash. So you see, it fades from light to dark, okay? So we're going to work on doing both of those. We're going to start though up here with the value scale and how we mix our different tones. I have another video, but it does not show the mixing of the tones, and I think it's important that you do the mixing. So this is my plate. So you can see I do a lot of mixing on it, and it's fine, okay? And my water is kind of dirty and old, and that's fine. You don't have to be a diva. You can work with what you have. So in order to mix a lighter color, okay, first of all, we have this ink. It's really strong and powerful and really, really black. Okay, it's like a level 5, super crazy. You never want to put this straight ink on the paper unless you're looking for black as night, no fade, straight ink spot. And sometimes you are, but that's not in this situation, okay? So we want to dilute our ink, okay? So we want to dip a nice clean paintbrush into our water, and I'm going to put a couple drops of water onto my plate, and you can see that it beads up. I'm going to brighten this up a bit. There we go. It beads up because it's styrofoam, and it does not absorb into the plate, which is nice. Then I'm going to wipe my brush off on the side of my water cup, or I can squeeze it off a little bit onto my newsprint or a paper towel. And then I'm going to dip just the tip of my brush. If I have too much of my brush in there, it's going to be a hot mess. So I'm just going to dip the tip, and then I'm going to touch my brush to my water, and you'll see that ink start to swirl into the water, and it gets really dark. All of a sudden it's like, whoa, that's crazy. So we want to do a value scale, which we've done with pencil. So we understand what value 1 is, what value 5 is. So straight off the bat, if I want to create a value 1, I can look at this and use my common sense and know that that is dark. Okay, that's not a level 1, but I'm not really sure how dark it is. So I can test off to the side since this is a practice paper. And if I go like that, ooh, yeah, that's like a level 5. Okay, so I need to dilute it some more. Now, instead of just throwing a bunch of water and like making this whole plate water city, what I'm going to do is rinse my brush. I'm going to drop some more water in another area, okay? And then I'm going to take the ink that's already on my plate, just like a tiny bit, and I'm going to mix that into the water that I just added, so I have a separate puddle. And then I'm going to test that. Oh yeah, that's getting lighter. It's not a level 1, but it's lighter. So each time I want to get lighter, I split my ink off and I add more water until I get what feels like a level 1. I can test it over here. Let's see. And if I do, yeah, that could probably be a level 1. You want it to be very light, okay? Once you feel like you have your level 1, okay, you have to hold the brush the right way, okay? And it depends on what you want the brush to do, kind of the brush stroke that you want. If you hold your brush, and just as an example, I'll do this on the back of another paper. If you hold your brush just like this on the side, you're gonna get a pretty thick line, okay? Sometimes that's good if you want to cover a big area, but if you want to do detail work, that's not awesome. If you hold your brush more straight up and down and just touch the tip of the brush, you'll get nice thin lines. And I like to set this part of my palm on the table to stabilize my hand so it doesn't shake, and then it makes it easier to stay inside the lines of a box or a circle. So, with that being said, I'm going to come into this area, and I have a lot of beading of my water, so it's probably a little bit too much. So I'm going to wipe my brush off. Then I'm going to pull the ink wash over, and then I'm going to pull it down, okay? And I did initially have too much water on there, so I did have to wipe my brush off and then kind of keep working, and it helped control that. Now I do have a spot that's too dark, right? I'm going to wipe my brush again. I don't have a paper towel, so I'm just using my apron. Then I'm going to take a drier brush, and I'm going to tap into it, and it's going to suck up some of that extra ink. And I'm going to do that in any areas that look like they're too dark, and then I'm just going to try to redistribute what I have there, and I end up with a nice smooth tone, okay? So I do that every single time, but I want to get progressively darker. Well, then you have too much ink. If it's too dark, you have too much ink. So you need more water. I'm not talking like fill your whole plate with water. I'm talking like separate another puddle. Okay, separate another puddle. I'm going to test this color. Okay. Now you notice, guys, when I go to paint, I'm doing it pretty quickly because the ink will dry. If I wait too long, it'll dry and I'll have streaks everywhere. So I'm painting pretty quickly. But when I'm mixing and testing my colors, I'm taking my time. And if it's not as dark as I would like it to be, I can come in and add a little more color. Not color. Add a little more ink, value, and darken it up a bit. I wipe my brush off, and then I come in and try to even it out a little bit if I can. It takes control. So brush control. So you would keep going, okay, until you end up with, where's my other example? I don't know. Oh, here. Until you have something that looks more like this, where it's getting progressively darker.
Right, so the last one will be dark.
Yeah, but it's not straight ink. I have seen some people today just go straight ink. And remember, we never want to do straight ink. We always want to have a little bit of water in there. Okay? Yeah. You always want to, yes, you always want to pre-mix on your plate. Even if it's going to be a level 5, I want to add a little bit of water so it doesn't like overflow and go crazy. And
What would straight ink? What would that be?
I mean, it's like a 5.